I hope that will help everything. I hope that's a better situation for everyone. And understanding my microphone was having some issues, and so hopefully that's a lot better. But once again, um, I just wanted to say that we really need to make sure that these situations do not, I shouldn't say do not, but if we're going to improve the game, it has to be better, and we have to make it better across the board. Now, hopefully, U.S. Soccer will understand this. Hopefully, U.S. Soccer can make it happen, and we'll wait and see how these things can happen and survive. We'll see what happens, but until then, obviously, there's more important things that are on U.S. Soccer's plate, obviously, than creating a professional fourth division league. But hopefully, these situations can be better, can improve, and everything will go very well and everything will be fine. But until then, we're still stuck in the same old. And as much as I would love to have things change up and be different, I really do hope that um, U.S. Soccer can definitely make things better and change things up as much as possible. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about this segment's sponsor. It's Dino Luzzi Energy Drink. When I need that extra kick to power through match analysis and late night transfer rumors, there's only one energy drink that delivers authentic Italian energy. Dino Luzzi, crafted in Italy with the same passion I bring to this show, because real energy comes from real ingredients, just like real soccer talk comes from real insiders. Ladies and gentlemen, got a great show for you tonight. Joining me right now, he is the head writer of the Blazing Musket. And I need to ask him an important question because I'm a little confused, because normally he goes by Sam Minton, but now Sam Lattof. And Sam, welcome back. Now, you can correct me. You can help me out. Did you decide to change your name, or is it a joke name? I don't know, but you go ahead, sir.
Yeah, no, it's actually changed my last name to my mother's maiden name, just giving her a quick shout out. So yeah, just, not a joke or anything, but I actually just went through the legal process of doing so. So happy to give some support to Mama Ladoff. So that's the change there.
Okay, that's great, and I'm wonderful. Is there something? Is she ill? Is there something wrong, or is just supporting your mother?
Oh no, no, no! Just wanted to do that, and when everybody gets to see my work, if you will, she gets the credit.
Okay, great, wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad she's okay, and it's nothing serious. I'm happy about that. Well, anyway, Sam, let's go ahead and get down to business. Um, Obviously, it finally happened. I think many people thought it was going to happen at the after decision day. That once the final whistle blew, that Caleb Porter was going to get sacked and walk out of the stadium and run right off into the sunset. But it finally happened. He has been relieved of his duties, and obviously, for many people, I would say at least Revolution supporters, they were happy that this finally happened, and it's just I would have to say a comedy of errors after going from Bruce Arena to Caleb Porter. It just looked like it just wasn't the same Revolution.
Yeah, it was definitely it's seemingly a long time coming. I think, obviously it seemed like for me personally after that Montreal game, it seemed like something where Caleb Porter would have been fired, at least, in my estimation. And when that didn't happen, it seemingly thought that it would kind of come maybe later in the season, thing like just at the conclusion of the season. But I was actually kind of a little bit surprised to see what ended up happening. I think it it's great in the sense that the Revolution did need to move on from Caleb Porter. But overall, I think maybe too little, too late. But very excited to kind of see these last few games, what Pablo Marea is able to do, and then potentially, who could be a new head coach. Obviously, the likes of Jim Curtin are already being mentioned as potential head coach replacements for Caleb Porter. He would obviously be a big get. I imagine, the likes of Gio Savarese, as well as Dominic Kinnear, might pop up as well, but definitely very intrigued to see how the Revolution handle this kind of coaching change. Obviously, swing and a miss with Caleb Porter hiring, but it's going to be very crucial to see who they hire and just the impact they're able to have in that first season, because this Revolution squad shouldn't be missing the playoffs, especially with someone like Carlos Heel. So we're going to be very intrigued to see who does end up getting selected and who kind of is able to hopefully take the Revs to the next step and, make them contenders once again.
Now, I have to ask you this. It's not just performance driven for the sacking. Were there issues in the locker room or in the training facility between the players and Porter? What happened?
Yeah, there's definitely some great reporting by Caleb Pongrantz. Want to give him, credit for a great article. Kind of delved into some of the locker room issues that were going on, and seemingly with certain players. At some points, it seemed like maybe Caleb Porter and Carlos Heel disagreed on things, but obviously publicly they never came to it. But there's various instances, whether it's with Luis Diaz, obviously Maxi Rudy was also let go from the team. It seemed like overall, his treatment of players wasn't well received. He seemed very harsh, and the quotes that came out of that story were very damning, I think, for Caleb Porter and kind of the locker room environment he does create. So overall, it definitely seemed like things needed to shake up just from beyond the performance, like you said, in terms of the locker room needing to just be in a much better place. And it really already does seem like it is in a better place. Obviously, the Revolution, suffered a loss against Philly, but in terms of just being in a better place, in terms of players playing freely, maybe not feeling as much pressure, it seems to be paying off. And obviously, the Revolution can't make the playoffs, building towards next season.
No, let's see what happens next year. If I can also ask you this, I mean, look, I know Kurt Analfo is the sporting director for the Revolution. Is his job still intact or is it in jeopardy? Because I'd like to think that through the entire situation going from Bruce Arena to Caleb Porter, it just feels like to me that Analfo just hasn't done the job he's supposed to do. And I just don't know if ownership is going to find a way to give him the sack. Is it possible that he's on last legs as well?
Yeah, I would definitely say maybe kind of on the last legs, maybe more than close to being sacked. I mean, it is interesting when you kind of look, Caleb Porter was brought in by Kurt Onalfo, so there is kind of some damning evidence there, if you will. But also, too, I think when you look at the transfer history, Kurt Onalfo was directly asked by Hayden Berda of Boston.com. He put it rather bluntly, just why should he still have a position? Why should he still have a job? And he really pointed to his transferability, and obviously the Revolution really transferred the entire roster to Caleb Porter's will. Caleb Porter wasn't able to make it work, but it was really he was given all the tools and he wasn't able to succeed. So I think Kurt Onalfo maybe isn't as on the hook as Caleb Porter was. I think overall, he did a lot in terms of turning the roster over, getting guys in. Obviously, the likes of Leo Campana underperformed. Ignatius Ganago deal, I don't know if that's exactly paid off. Dort Herdman, I think, could be the crucial one. If the Revolution continued to fail to get goals, that could be very damning for Kurt Onalfo. But I would definitely say it's close. The fact that it looks like he's going to have a role in hiring the next head coach makes me think that he is staying around. But the Revolution, anything's really possible.
Yeah, I agree. You never know what's going to happen over there in Foxborough. If it's not the Patriot season, there's always something with the Revs, that's for sure. And hopefully, once again, hopefully that stadium deal will finally start getting shovels in the ground. We will talk about that another time. The big baffling pickup, I feel, was bringing back Matt Turner and sending off Ivicic. I mean, I'm still questioning that move. Look, I understand for Matt Turner. I mean, he'll take a move anywhere back in the league. He'll definitely want to come back and vie for the starting position for the men's national team for the World Cup coming next summer. But did you feel that was the right move for the Revolution to bring Matt Turner back? I mean, I'm not blaming Ivicic at all for this season. There's only so much he can. There's only so much he can do in goal when you're getting blitzed, and it's the tactics that are not working.
Exactly. I do think, Ivicic kind of got the rough end of, the deal there because I thought he was performing decently. Obviously, he wasn't, a caliber of goalkeeper of Matt Turner. But goalkeeping wasn't the issue for the Revolution. And obviously, when you get the ability to bring in Matt Turner on a relatively cheap deal, especially a homecoming, you kind of have to take it. But overall, I do feel like it wasn't a necessary move. And I don't think he's necessarily made the greatest impact. It just seems like the Revolution now are allowing less goals but still losing games. So it'll be interesting to see what 2026 looks like. But like you said, I do feel like Ibricic kind of got left out to dry for no reason. Really, is getting blamed when he doesn't necessarily deserve it. So it's going to be interesting to see how he rebounds in his career. And I really think the Revolution got a different Matt Turner than the one that they sent off to Europe. So obviously, Turner will appreciate the minutes, especially heading into the World Cup. But I don't know if he'll be that game changer that will allow the Revs to be contenders. Really, they just need a significant goal scorer, and they'll be hoping that Dort Turgeman will be that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's not forget you have Gongano, you've got Campagna, you have Chunkalai, Carlos Heel. Um, I mean, do you feel you have enough on this club for 2026 when the new season begins to maybe make a run and finally break this playoff less streak?
Yeah, I mean, I really think they do. Obviously, getting a head coach is going to be extremely important, I think, in that process. But when you look at the roster they have, in terms of having Carlos Heel, having some, quality defenders and Brian Ceballos, Eli Feingold, Peyton Miller, I really do feel that this Revolution team should be making the playoffs. And so I think it's really just all about bringing in the right head coach, whether that's Jim Curtin or Egeo Savarese. I really think that this team is capable of making the playoffs, and they should be able, to be a playoff contending team. At this point, they're kind of all solely just going to expect to be, sneaking into the playoffs. But I think moving forward, being able to build off of that, hopefully, before the end of the decade, at least, the Revolution can be towards the top of the Eastern Conference and competing for hopefully trophies soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, we all know this. It doesn't matter where in the states you are in this league. Look, we all know Boston wants a winner, regardless of what club it is. And hopefully, in the next season, we'll see what happens. But as you said, and I agree, the right head coach has to come in and find a way to make these players play better. I mean, let's be honest. No one did it better than Bruce Arena. I know he's over in San Jose right now. Regardless of what the situation was between him and Richie Williams and Kurt Anolfo, the truth is this, is that the Revolution hasn't had a great team being managed by a great manager since I would say what was it? Stevie Nickel when he had Taylor Twellman, Shalry Joseph, Brian Ralston, Matt Reese, and those Revolution teams that did threaten in the MLS Cup final, but just couldn't get over the hump.
Exactly. I mean, it really seems like after the loss of Bruce Arena, it did some significant damage. Obviously, he resigned. Obviously, he wasn't exactly a guiltless in his exit. But this team really just needs, a head coach to be able to bring them together. And and on the player side of things, they simply just need, a capable striker score probably 10 or 15 goals a season. With Carlos Heel on the roster, if you have those combination of items as well as a solid back line, you should be competing at the top of the Eastern Conference. So hopefully those changes are made and we're able to see the Revolution kind of return to some of their former glory.
Yep, exactly. And I also have to ask you this. I mean, I know those are great names that you posted out there, obviously on on the segment right now. Like you said, Jim Curtin, Giovanni Savarese, many others that you've said. My question is this: who do you truly think the Revolution should bring over outside of those names? Who do you have a name yourself that you believe they should bring over, maybe to give an opportunity, or maybe they should go internally? Someone who's been doing well at Revolution 2 in MLS Next Pro. And it looks like Sam has frozen. Hopefully, we can get Sam back and talk about it. But looks like Sam has frozen on us right now. He probably has lost connection. Oh, and we just lost Sam, unfortunately. But hopefully he'll be back. Oh, it looks like he'll be coming back right now. There he is. Sam, you there?
All good, Dan?
All good.
Yeah,
There we
my
go.
apologies. Sorry, I just had an issue with my phone here. But yeah, essentially, I really think that the Revolution are in an interesting spot in the sense that, like you mentioned, having Jim Curtin, having Gio Savarese, these are guys who have MLS experience. So I do think, those are probably the two main people. But I also do think, you mentioned Revs too. Richie Williams is having a great season, but considering kind of his role in the whole Bruce Arena situation, I think it'd be very difficult to bring him up. You do have someone like Brad Knighton who's kind of coming up from the coaching ranks. Um, I don't know if he's exactly ready for a head coaching job there. So, unless it comes to a surprise, maybe someone from Europe, someone from maybe South America, really do think that personally, I think Gio Savarese probably is the most likely scenario. But I think when you have someone like Jim Curtin, it would take a lot to get him there. Probably would have to give him the head coach and sporting director capabilities. But if you're able to get him, if you're able to pay him, the amount of money that he would require, I think he would be great, and I think he would be able to kind of change things in New England. He's great at developing young talent. The Revolution have been great in doing that already, so I think there would be a melding kind of those capabilities. So I think he would be a great fit. I don't know if he would just essentially be able to get sold on the Revolution project. So I really think someone like Gio Savarese, or if we kind of see some other chips fall elsewhere in terms of head coaches, that's something to keep an eye on. But Caleb Porter was an MLS kind of proven commodity. So I do wonder if the Revolution might have more of an outside the box, maybe not looking for someone who's won trophies, but someone who knows MLS and is able to be successful in a league like it.
No, absolutely. And they'll have plenty of time now to think who they want to bring over, and hopefully they will be able to be successful for 2026. We'll have to wait and see. But once again, a new season, as they always say, a new dawn rises for a brand new season. But as always, Sam, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you hopefully later on in the year. If not, you take care, and thank you again for joining me tonight.
Thank you so much, Dan. Sorry about the connection issues, but hopefully we get to chat about the next head coach of New England Revolution. And again, like you said, hopefully brighter days ahead.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Sam. Take care.
Have a good one.
Once again, Sam Minton-Lattof from the Blazing Musket, covering the New England Revolution. Once again, Caleb Porter sacked by the Revolution as they are now out of the playoff positioning. They've been eliminated from playoff positioning. So, what can you do there? All right. So my next guest here's the recording. Now, for those of you that are not familiar over at Bad Dog Sports, not just New York soccer that I cover, whether it be the Red Bulls. Of course, sometimes I have to help out with NYCFC stuff, but we've been covering a lot of soccer, women's soccer, European soccer, the FIFA Club World Cup that happened this past summer. And now we're covering from the USL Gainbridge Super League, Fort Lauderdale United. So every once in a while, we'll have a spot for Fort Lauderdale United's women's team. And my first guest that I covered for this Fort Lauderdale United spot, and when it comes up, we'll let you know, is their midfielder in Darya Rajaee. And she joined me to talk about her time at the club and what's going on this season. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Here it is right now. BadDogSports.com, and we have been recently covering Fort Lauderdale United at the Gainbridge Super League. And joining me from Fort Lauderdale United is Miss Darya Rajaee, as she will join us today to talk about her time at Fort Lauderdale United currently. Darya, thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate it. How are you today?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing very good. Thanks a lot for being here. I really do appreciate it. You're currently in your second season with the club over at Fort Lauderdale United. And how's it going for yourself personally at the club?
Yeah, I think it's going well. Our first season was really good, so I was excited to come back for our second season. I think we've had a really good start. For me personally, I'm finding myself to be one of the older ones on the team now. Still a young 25, but we have a lot of young players. So for me personally, I'm trying to work on, my leadership this year, really like mentor those younger kids. I've had a lot of great mentors in the past. So for me personally, that's a big thing, like kind of off the field and not soccer specific, that I want to hone in on, is just that leadership area for me to personally grow in.
Oh, that's absolutely great to hear. And obviously it's wonderful to hear about you trying to improve yourself with the club, especially in this current season right now.
Yeah.
Last year, the club did reach the USL Super League title final match against Tampa Bay Sun. What are your feelings before and during the final that makes this Florida derby so special?
Yeah. I think there were a lot of emotions going into that final, just because we played Tampa so many times during the season. I think before every final, there's going to be some nerves. For us, we definitely wanted to win that game. Unfortunately, we didn't. But just being in my home state, getting my family over to watch the game, they're not too far. They're in Gainesville, so having them close by was really special. Being in my home state of Florida was really special, inspiring the younger generation, and just to make the first ever final in the Super League in general was really special for our team. So yeah, that was fun, but a lot of emotions during that game.
I bet there was. I mean, that was a spectacular final. When I watched the game, I saw the replays. Unfortunately, Tampa Bay did take the title, but still, I thought you and Fort Lauderdale were fantastic in that match.
Yeah, definitely a bummer. We definitely wanted to win that first ever final. But again, just making it to the final, being a brand new team, first ever season, definitely a big accomplishment as well.
Now, this season you started against Lexington SC, but you were missing a certain player that you played against on Lexington this season. How difficult was it for you to face Addie McCain, who was with you last year?
Yeah. Addie's a great player. She was crucial for us last year, and it was definitely sad to see her go. Lexington actually had two of our players, Addie McCain and Tati Fung, and so it was fun seeing them, but I didn't like being on the other side wearing a different jersey than them. But no, Lexington's a great team. I think in the offseason they had a lot of good signings, so we were prepared to face a really tough side, and yeah, I thought we came out strong and we did well.
No, that's great. From last season though, what was your favorite match? Either scoring a goal or a big win from last year in Fort Lauderdale?
Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind, I had a lot of favorite matches, but first one that comes to mind is probably just our first ever game as a club. It was away in Spokane, Washington, so I kind of wish it was home in front of our fans, but no, just to start something new, to be something, or to be a part of something so special and so brand new, and something that's going to be a milestone for younger generation. I actually got to captain that game, so that was really special as well, just being able to be the first ever captain in a game for Fort Lauderdale United. I think like we got a tie in that game, so it wasn't our first win, but we definitely got a point on the road, which is hard to do. So I think it really set the tone for the rest of our season, so that was probably one of my favorite matches.
Now, this season, so far, 4 matches have already been played. First 2 games at home, they were both draws, 3-3 against Lexington. I believe it was 2-2 in your next home match. Then you go on the road
and you get a big 1-0 victory over Spokane Velocity. And then when you come back home to Beyond Bancard Field, that was an impressive 4-1 victory over first place Dallas Trinity. Currently now a single point behind Trinity, and you did knock them off for the unbeaten streak or the winning streak that they were going for. How do you think you've done so far to start the season?
Yeah, I think we've been performing really well. We have a lot of new players, so I think just with that in mind, it's definitely going to be kind of like a brand new season and like a brand new team once again. We're still trying to find that connection, build a rhythm with all the new players, fully gel together. But I think our results so far have been really good. The ties, like you said, going on the road, getting a big win, and then again coming home against the top side Dallas and scoring 4 goals, which we've never done in club history against a really good side. It's just good for us, good for our energy, good for the vibe of the team. And I think that's just something that we can look forward to. And if we're consistent, we'll go really far this season for sure.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about yourself for a moment, if you don't mind. You played collegiately at the University of Central Florida, of course, a long time ago. I wished I was attending University of Central Florida because I'm a big Disney fan, but that's just me, of course. But still, though, the school played in the American Athletic Conference, the AAC. How competitive was that conference? I know the school is currently in the Big 12, but when you played at the AAC, how competitive was that conference?
Yeah, I mean, super competitive. We had some top schools. It's funny because we would play against USF, another Florida team, and Denise, who's now the coach of Tampa Bay Sun, was also the coach of USF. So I'm very familiar with her, which is also why the Florida Derby, the final last year, was special to me. Just competed against her for many years. No, a lot of great players, a lot of players who were in that conference are now professional players. So it's definitely helped me in my development going to play pro eventually. It definitely helped me get into that, prepared me well.
No, I'm glad it did. And so far, you're looking pretty good. Now, I know that you are a Floridian. You're born in Gainesville. And once again, you did play collegiately in Orlando. And even though you have played abroad in Europe, in Germany, and Portugal, being back in the state of Florida, and the majority of your life and career, you're playing in Florida, how does that feel for you to majority of the time being in the state that you were born in?
It's so special. I think going abroad was super hard for me just because I am a homebody. I really wanted to be close to family. But again, leaving my home state definitely allowed me to get out of my comfort zone, helped me grow as a player and a person, and then it allowed me to come here and be a part of the first ever Fort Lauderdale United team. But for me, Florida is definitely where my heart is. My family all still lives here, so it's a very special place for me. So I'm very fortunate that I'm able to play in my home state of Florida.
Now back to the club. Recently, we just found out Tyrone Mears will now move to the front office, and your associate head coach, Ali Rogers, is going to take over full-time as the head coach for the rest of the season and beyond. What's your thoughts of these moves, and how important do you think it's going to help the club moving down the road, especially this season in the Gainbridge Super League?
Yeah, no, I think it's super important that we still have both of them here at Fort Lauderdale, and Ty has been great for us. Last year, he obviously led us to a final, so he's been helping here and there on the field still. But for him going into president of soccer, I mean, he's just going to help navigate paths for younger generations. Like I said, that's super important with our men's side coming, continuing to help our women's side, our academy side that's launching. So he's definitely in control of that. And then just to have Alyssa Rogers as our head coach, I mean, she's a strong female, and that's something that I think the Gainbridge Super League really needs, and I think we want more of. So for her, I think that's really, really special, and we're happy to have her.
Now, you are off this weekend, but you're having a big road trip coming up very soon. The following weekend, you'll be heading up to Brooklyn, New York to take on Brooklyn FC over at Mayon Days Park in Coney Island. That'll be a Sunday afternoon on September the 28th. And how confident are you to get a result up in Brooklyn?
Yeah, I think so far with our results, we're feeling pretty confident. Brooklyn's a pretty new team. I know they have a new coach, and we haven't really watched too much of them. But before every game, we try to focus on ourselves, and I think that's gone well for us so far. Like I said, with our results, our vibes are high. Our team's feeling confident. So after this Dallas match, we know we can score goals, and I think we'll focus on that heading into Brooklyn.
That's fantastic. And the most important thing that I have to ask you when you get to Brooklyn, will you ride the Cyclone?
I will not be riding this one.
What?
I'm not a huge fan. I know it's a beautiful scene when we're playing at Brooklyn, but I will not be going on that ride.
So you're not a fan of roller coasters, huh?
No, not the biggest.
How about trip to Nathan's?
Maybe. That might happen.
Okay.
A little post-win.
Okay. At least it's not that far. It's just down the block. That's all.
Exactly. Or some New York pizza.
There you go. Although, well, anywhere. Okay. Don't go to Ray Bari.
Okay.
Do not go to Sbarro. Any pizza joint in Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, Manhattan, even Staten Island, just go there.
Okay. Noted.
Okay?
Got
And that's
it.
your food tip of the day on this issue of the Fort Lauderdale United segment. And I'm once again with Darya Rajaee, who joins me today. Thank you so much, Dara. I appreciate your time. Enjoy the weekend off, and good luck the following weekend up in Brooklyn.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.